Hi, my name is Katie Cora. I'm a student in Anthropology 220, and I'm going to be talking about food labeling and date labeling on food products and how that has an effect on the United States overall food waste. I have included the overview of my presentation and some questions I will answer along the way. Number one is, what is food labeling and what are the components of a label? So how is someone to read a label and what it consists of? Which leads me to my next question is, how does one read a food label? So I will go over the components of a food label and how to properly read them and understand them. What is the proper way of date labeling? I will go over the three main phrases of date labels and which one is the most advised by the USDA. Which states require date labels on food products? So there are 41 states that require date labels on certain food items and 9 that do not, and I will go over them. What are some solutions to create a reliable system? So the NRDC report has provided 5 simple solutions to create a more reliable system in which that will lead to a bigger understanding of food labels. What is food labeling? Food labeling is the panel found on a package of food which contains a variety of information about the nutritional value of the food item. There are many pieces of information on most food labels, including serving size, number of calories, grams of fat, included nutrients, and a list of ingredients. This information helps people who are trying to restrict their intake of fat, sodium, sugar, or other ingredients, or those individuals who are trying to get enough of the healthy nutrients such as calcium or vitamin C. 4 main components of a food label include serving size, which is the portion of food used as a reference on the nutrition label of that food and the recommended portion of food to be eaten. Calories, which as a unit of energy defined as heat, which is also known as a small or gram calorie, but also as heat required to raise 1 kilogram of water 1 degree Celsius, which is also the large calorie or kilocalorie. The percent daily values is a guide to the nutrients in one serving of food. For example, if the label lists 15% calcium, it means that one serving provides 15% of the calcium you need each day. Daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet for healthy adults. And the 4th component is ingredients, which is self-explanatory as the ingredients found in the food product. And here's an example of a food label and how to read it. Steps to reading a food label. There are 7 steps. The first one is start with the serving size. So look for the serving size and compare portion size to listed serving size. Number 2 is check out the total calories. How many calories are in a single serving? Number 3, let the percent daily values be your guide. Use percent daily value to help evaluate how a particular food fits into your daily meals. Percent daily values are for the entire day, not just one meal or a snack. Low percent daily value is 5% or less, so aim low in saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium. High percent daily value is 20% or more, so aim high in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Number 4, check out the nutrition terms. These include catching if it is low in calories and cholesterol, if there's reduced fat, if there's a good source of any particular item, if it is calorie-free, fat and sugar-free, low in sodium, and what is it high in. Number 5 is choose low in saturated fat, added sugars, and sodium, which has been included above. Number 6 is get enough vitamins, minerals, and fibers. And finally, consider the additional nutrients. Now you're going to segue into date labels and the complications and problems that come along with them. Date labels ultimately lead to food waste. About 400,000 tons of food is wasted each year due to the confusion of food labels and the assumption that food goes bad long before it really does. There's often confusion about date labels and how to read them and what they each mean. First off, the best if used by / before indicates when a product will be of best flavor or quality. It is not a purchase or safety date. The second is sell by, which tells the store how long to display the product for sale for inventory management. It is not a safety date. It only informs the retailer. It allows store owners to maintain stock control and leaves a quote unquote reasonable amount of time for a customer to consume a product after it's purchased, according to the Natural Resources Defense Council, which is a nonprofit conservation group. Finally, use by. Use by date is the last date recommended for the use of the product while at peak quality. It is not a safety date except for when used on infant formula. So which label is the best to use? The use by date label is the date recommended for use while the product is at peak quality according to the USDA. Food manufacturers have widely adopted a new initiative to clarify use-by dates on food labels, and the Grocery Manufacturers Association says it will use social media to encourage Americans to use information to throw out less food in 2019. 41 states and the District of Columbia require date labels on at least some food items. The states that don't require date labels include Alabama, Idaho, Illinois, Missouri, Nebraska, New York, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Utah. And this is a map of the United States and the states that do not require date labels. Many states require food labeling on certain food products. For example, states that require date labels on dairy include California, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. And states that require date labels on shellfish are Alaska, Arkansas, California, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Minnesota, Mississippi, New Jersey, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia. Other major products that states require labels include eggs, sandwiches, infant formula, hazardous foods, perishables, and meat. Developing a more standardized system could keep 398,000 tons of food from being wasted every year, according to a report released this year by Harvard Food Law and Policy Clinic and other groups. The average family throws out about $1,500 in perfectly edible food a year, CBS News reported. According to the NRDC report, solutions to the current system that would lead to a more reliable system include establishing standard, clear language for both quality and safety-based data, include freeze-by dates and freezing information where applicable, remove or replace quality-based dates on non-perishable, shelf-stable products, ensure date labels are clearly and predictably located on packages, and employ more transparent methods for selecting dates. Just to recap on what has been brought up in this presentation, food labeling is the panel found on a package that contains information pertaining to that food item. Date labels and food labels are different. Food labels include nutrition facts, which is found on the apple in the picture on the screen. Date labels are best if use by, and sell by dates included on food products. The main components of a food label include serving size, calories, percent daily value, and ingredients. Date labels lead to food waste. This is the most important aspect of this presentation. I want to reiterate that confusion due to what date labels mean leads to unnecessary food waste of perfectly good and safe food. Different states have different requirements regarding date labels. 9 of the states do not require date labels, but 41, including the District of Columbia, do. And the NRDC report provided solutions for a reliable system that will lead to a safe understanding of dates and date labels. And here are my references. According to one industry study, 90% of Americans at least occasionally throw food away prematurely because they mistakenly interpret the date label to mean their food is unsafe. 25% do so every time. This chart relates to the quote regarding 90% of Americans who throw food away prematurely. The problem has continued to cause food waste in a world where food is very vital.